You know,
Mhm.
if you can tell a young person right now who's on this live or watching this, what would you tell someone, not even just a man or a woman, what kind of motivation would you give somebody?
Intelligence without ambition is a bird without wings.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. I'm excited today. They call me Q the Boss. Big Boss is in the building today. Listen, I'm bringing a very special guest today. Yeah, this is my guy, just so you guys know. We built a very good bond. He's an amazing man. I respect him so much, man. This guy, very, very prominent man. NBA superstar, Cuttino Mobley, guys. This guy, we've been building a bond and we've been talking a lot. And I'm a fan. I'm not just a fan of him as an athlete, but I'm a fan of him as a man. I like the way he thinks. He's really adamant about helping fix the culture. We speak about a lot of different things and a lot of different topics. And a lot of these things really matter because a lot of people need to hear these things, right? Because we're in a world now, socially, I feel like that we're in a space where a lot of people are not trying to hear reality, right? So now this is the dilemma. You have people who are so captive, who's all in their feelings about the truth. So we talk about things that really matter. But when he come in, we're going to really talk about a lot of different topics, right? But we're going to first summarize where he's come from, how did he get to where he is today? Because I know a lot of people would like to know that, right? Cuttino Mobley was the duel of Steve Francis and Cuttino Mobley. Anybody knows the Houston Rockets, like you gotta know. Like, you don't know basketball if you don't know Cuttino Mobley. We're talking about NBA professional ball player, Cuttino Mobley, right? And I'm like I said again, I'm a fan. We've been talking a lot lately, and honestly, I love the way he thinks in the conversations we've been having have been very prominent as far as getting the responses that we want. People are really tapping in and hearing the conversations because, listen, sometimes, when you have conversations, it's hard to explain everything. The man, the myth, the legend is here, guys. He is here. Let's give this man his flowers. Cat, before we even get started, I want you to know I'm honored, and I value you so much, and I want you to know I appreciate you for even doing this for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up with you?
Listen, I'm a blessed guy, man. We can't complain, right? We blessed guys, brother. Listen, let me give you flowers, because yesterday was Father's Day, and let me give you your flowers before we even get started. I got to meet the beautiful family, and I'm gonna tell you, man, you have a beautiful family. Listen, your smile was so sincere yesterday. I got to really see how happy they make you, brother.
Yeah.
I met the little princess, I met the big guy, I met the bigger guy, and it's amazing, right? But the reason why I wanted to do this with you, man, is I want you to know that I value your words. I love how you think. You're listen, I want to give you your flowers while you're here. We're not doing it when you're dead. We're doing it right now. You're getting your flowers, my brother. You're an amazing brother, man.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Just trying to do my part. That's all.
So let's start to the humble beginnings. Like, where are you from, for those who don't know?
Yeah, so I'm from my name's Cuttino Mobley. I'm from North Philadelphia. I'm from Philly. Born and raised. There's a lot of talent to come out of there. A lot of good people. Yeah, man, I was blessed to have 4 parents.
Wow.
2 amazing fathers. My stepfather actually passed away my rookie year in the NBA. He was my oracle.
Wow.
My father's still here. My father and I are super close. He comes back and forth from Philly to LA to hang with me and the kids. And my mother and I are really close. So she's in Houston, so she comes back and forth as well. So we got a really tight family. I got brothers and sisters, but yeah, we're Philadelphians, man.
Just so you know, guys, Philadelphia, I told him the other day, Philadelphia is very geographical, right? We talk New York the same way, guys, just so y'all know that I'm from New York. New York is very geographical. So let's say by way of which part of Philly? Exact.
Well, I'm from North Philadelphia.
North Philadelphia,
Yeah,
born and raised, right?
you got to state that. I mean, guys from West Philly, Southwest, they'll tell you where they from.
They go hard
It's,
up there, bro. They go
yeah,
hard in Philly, man. But like,
yeah.
okay, wait. Let me ask you something. Going into like your collegiate level, did you always knew that you had the potential to be an NBA player?
I didn't. I think it dawned on me maybe sophomore year,
Well,
going into junior year, that I can play in the pros. And it was just my thought. It wasn't really something people would say, oh, he can, not like Kobe, where it's like you can be a pro. But again, too, there's the Malcolm Gladwell, the author. He speaks about a book called Outliers.
okay.
And the 2,000-hour theory plus the your environment.
Yes.
And my environment at the time was Rasheed Wallace, who played in the pros, Alvin Williams played in the pros,
Wow.
Kobe Bryant, Aaron McKee, Eddie Jones, Rick Brunt. It was Jason Law. It was so many of us, Mark Macon. It was so many of us that were around each other that were actual pros.
Yes.
But only a few you knew were pros.
Wow.
So
coming up,
yeah.
who would you say was, like, even to this day, who you think is the greatest ball player of all time? Who do you think it is?
In the NBA?
All time. From the NBA.
Michael was my GOAT growing up.
Yes.
But playing the game and knowing what all players need.
Yes.
Is LeBron James.
Wow. That's my GOAT. I'm going to be honest with you. Bron is my GOAT. And I think it's because
Mike was my GOAT growing up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then when you start getting older, it's like we were talking about as fathers, right?
Yes.
Like, I want to talk later on today about this at 5:30. It's about 8:30 your time.
Yes.
But Russell Simmons was going through something. I'm sorry I'm pivoting, but I'm going back to it.
It's okay.
But when you were younger, the house that you lived in looked big.
Yes.
Your mom and your dad was your life. They were your Bible. They tell you certain things. And then you start getting older and you start to understand life more. You're like, yeah, this person right here is the person you build that team around.
Yes.
Because he's going to make everybody great, better, right?
Yes.
So that's my LeBron James, right?
Yes.
LeBron James is the guy, you could take 4 dudes from Home Depot and LeBron James is taking them to the playoffs.
Yes,
May not win it, but he's taking them
to the playoffs. He's going to get them there to the promised land. You know, the one thing I've gotten to get to know you, and I will say that you're one of the humblest stars I've ever met, right? Because it's like, I can clearly see you know who you are and you're comfortable in your skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell, like, just genuinely how you speak, right? You say it with meaning and you stand behind what you say. And that's one of the main reasons why I look at you as my big bro, right? And I respect you with so much integrity. Were you always like that? Did you always see yourself as, I'm me, you have to accept me, or did you have to develop into that?
Well, I mean, I always, my grandmother used to always say my soul was always old. So I remember when I was really little, and her and I were on the sub, we were on the L train, and she didn't have to tell me this. I was sitting down next to her, and then a older lady got on the train, and I got right up so she could sit down.
Wow.
And I remember my grandmother, I might be about 7.
Yes.
My grandmother, she was always amazed on how I thought. I think for others, I don't think for myself.
Yes.
Right. And I'm very blessed to be one of not only 7 billion people on earth that's living, but to understand that there could have been other people born. There could have been other people, could have been 6'4", 6'5", playing in the NBA.
Yes.
It was only 5,000 of us. I was one of them, and not even, I was a star. So it's not like I'm poking my chest out, and born a black man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's a power in itself.
Yes, it is.
So it's, once we can really understand the transition of souls and who you become and why are you here, I think for me, I developed into understanding that, right? I'm not special.
Yes.
But, maybe people think I am and but, I just, it's hard to explain. I just know what I should do, what I'm supposed to do. And that, Kobe was 40-some years old when my brother passed. Yeah. Right? He thought he had another 40, 50 years.
Agreed.
So understanding that about life.
Yes.
I think that's what humbles me, that, right, you have this knowledge and you have this talent and you have this access and you have this, and, you know, what are you doing with it, right?
Agreed.
It could be somebody else's. He could have gave it to somebody else,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that's just for me. And then, like you said, like, I understand who I am.
Agreed.
And I'm okay. I'll stay in the background.
Yes.
Right? I'll just, yo, go tell them.
Yes.
Right? Or if you want me to stand in the front, I'll stand in the front.
Yes.
But I'm not here for me. I'm here for us.
I agree.
And
100%.
I've always been like that.
And I can tell the way you just invited me into to the family, bro. It's crazy. And you know, humbly, I talk to my guys about you a lot, and I tell them you're just an amazing person, right?
Thank you.
Not disregarding what you've done NBA wise. I'm talking about as a human, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can feel your spirit that you're just intact with yourself. And
Yes.
once one knows self-value, man, there's only sky's the limit, right? And
Yes.
like for me, you know, sitting back, admiring you as a young former athlete myself and just seeing Cuttino Mobley, right? To be able to sit here and actually have a conversation with you was like, wow, look at how life can go full circle, right?
Yeah.
But again, you know, that left-hand shot, right? You know, we was talking about that lefty shooting, man, was crazy. It's hard to defend lefties, just so y'all know that. They hard.
Right.
It's kind of like unorthodox kind of, because you're so used to the right, right? So, you know, looking back, who would you say, outside of, like, say, Michael Jordan, who inspired you? I know you told me before, you know, a story about your stepfather, and I want them to understand, you know, you don't have to come from a bad situation in order to be great, right? Some people just have to understand and appreciate their situation. You know, the one thing I love is how you give your family so much flowers. You know, how much you keep acknowledging that they played so much of a adamant role in your life, right? So I want you to explain to someone, because you have the kids that come up in the ghetto and you have kids that come up in middle-class suburbia. You know, it's just a gift and working hard. Anyone could be successful, right? Because I'm pretty sure as an athlete, you've seen both sides of the coin, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, again, everybody has their own story. You know, the creator, like we call him God, has blessed me to have, you know, my stepfather, my stepmother, my mom, my dad.
Yes.
None of them were, all of them were amazing in their own, you know, space. I grew up with a lot of love, man. You know, there was no molestation by my parents. There was no beating like there was that. It was, you know, my mom probably whooped your ass a little bit, but that was back in the 80s, you know, where they thought that was the right thing to do. And, you know what I'm saying? Stepfather, my dad always just talked to me, you know, just kind of helped me become a man instead of a man.
Yes.
To control my emotions. And at a very young age, you know, listen, you're growing up in Philadelphia, your emotions are a little, not saying just Philadelphia, it's all around New York, everywhere. But,
Of course.
you know, once you try to practice how to control emotion, I think that helps you navigate through life, because life is so chaotic.
Yes.
You know, again, I can't speak for anybody else who grew up in the hood, but for me, just really paying attention when older people. Now, listen, there can be older people talking to you that's not telling you to do the right thing.
Yes.
You'll find out what that is sooner or later, and hopefully you're not damaged from it.
Wow.
And you can't. What you can do is you can thank them, especially if it's wrong.
I agree.
Because once you find out that it's right, I mean, what's right, then you know not to do that anymore, right? So God gives you these messages through life.
Yes.
And I think, you know, I didn't just become this peaceful person. And, you know, it was every single day wanting to gravitate to peace, wanting to gravitate to understanding, wanting to know, you know, gravitate to knowledge, you know, of oneself first, right? And why am I here? What's my purpose? You know, it's like, I think we're a product of our past, but, you know, like it's like, but we're not prisoners of it, right? So like from the hood, like, yeah, you're a product of the hood, but you're not a prisoner. So you can become better as a person, right? There's resources out there. There's things out there you can you can detach yourself from.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not easy, but it ain't impossible.
Yes. You know, a lot of people feel like they're a victim of circumstance, right? And they allow their circumstances to basically hinder the rest of their life. And I've noticed that a lot of people have made certain decisions because they believe that this is where I'm supposed to be. You know, when you talk to people, right? I've come from bottom, single mother, you know, made poor decisions, but made great decisions also, right? Because it's life. We live and we learn, we grow from it. But again, it's a part of your testimony and your story. But the one thing I do like is you know, to make it to a professional level. I had to tell a guy the other day, it doesn't matter if a guy played a half a season, a whole season, or many seasons. To make it to the professional level, when we know how many people want that, that says volumes, right?
Mhm.
It says volumes because that means you had to be substantially beyond average to be in that level, right? And to be a
Mhm.
star like yourself is even more to overcome, right? Because you have to
Mhm.
stand out amongst a lot of people, you know.
And be consistent doing it too.
Yes, yes, yes. Going into your
Yeah.
rookie season, right? When you knew that I'm here and I belong here? When was that moment that you said to yourself, I belong here?
I knew it before I got drafted,
Okay.
but it was just now once I got there, it was just the reassurance from Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley, and they were I want him to start. I want him to play, because they believed in me.
Yes.
And you can believe in yourself all you want, right? And that's a good thing. But then when someone else believes in you also, that just pushes you over, right,
Yes.
to the other level. And they gave me that confidence. And then also too is the work ethics that they did, right?
Agreed.
Telling me what to do to like make sure, because doubt is in everything. Doubt is in everything in
Yes, it
life,
is.
right?
Of course.
It's going to be bad days and good days, but if you're consistent with your good, the bad won't last long throughout the day,
I agree
right?
100%.
So that's where confidence comes in at for me, especially at that young age, is just staying on the course, like just every single morning, waking up this time, working out, doing this, doing that. So you'll have more great days than not.
Yes.
So the bad days won't bother you as much because it's just Monday. It's all good.
Agreed.
I'll come back and I'll kill him.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Just attack it like that. So yeah, so I knew I could play. I knew I belonged.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the older guys, because sometimes listen, you no one does anything by themselves.
Agreed.
It's someone in there helped
You need a
in
team.
some way, shape, or form,
You need a team.
right?
Right.
Yeah. So you know, Jimmy Butler, right?
Yes. All right.
And, his mom kicked him out. His best friend's mom, white lady, raised him.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Look at his story.
right, and he just did the rest.
Yes.
So yeah,
There's
I
you ever seen the remember the Netflix series with I think it was the Redeem Team with the LeBron and all of them? Was
yeah.
that's the Redeem Team, right? You know what was amazing about that whole thing that I saw? Kobe Bryant, right?
Hmm.
All the guys went out to go party and have fun, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Kobe still had the extreme discipline. So when they're coming in the hotel from partying, he's literally going into the gym, preparing himself to compete, right? Because he knew what he was there for. So to
Hmm.
be able to live above influence, right, and still be yourself is very amazing when a person finds that peace with oneself. So to
Hmm.
see that even the Mamba, right, he says, you know
Hmm.
what, you guys are going up, and then noticing that their routine changed by being around them. You know, one day I had to tell a guy, I said, in life, it's not easy to change the room that you in, but it's easier to change the room that you in, right? So sometimes you have to remove yourself from the room you in and go into another room. It is so much
Right.
easier, right? And some people can't see that. You know, they want to be around people that's basically controlling their thinking. And I'm like, you'll be surprised at what a child can paint if you give him a blank canvas. And I'm like,
Hmm.
in life, we have to take a new canvas and repaint the lifestyle
Yeah.
that we want and the mentality that we want by being around
Right.
people. I like minded people like you, but for yourself, I like being around people like you and talking to you because you show me that I'm going on the right direction, right? You saying like
Mhm.
this is right. And you need to people from peers and people you respect to tell you that. That's why I understand what you said about the Scottie Pippen and the Charles Barkleys, right? You need to hear those things because social media is a world where it can make you feel like second guessing your words. You're like, did I say something wrong? But then you got to know your intent. You know, you got to know your intent. My intent wasn't to hurt someone with the truth, right? But the fear, the reality is the lie should be the enemy, not the truth. And like, how do we get to that level now with showing people that the lie is the devil? It's not the truth. That's the devil.
You know, life is an algorithm.
Yes.
So you got to be careful what you put inside your mind, your body, because it will give you back what you're interested in.
Yes. Yes.
That's one of them. And I think also too, the truth doesn't mind being questioned. Right? So a lie doesn't like being challenged.
Agreed. 100%.
Right? So, you know, I think the more too is the more we serve others,
yes,
others, the happier we are as humans.
I agree 100%. 100%.
When we don't think like that enough. So there's a lot of selfish intent.
I agree 100%.
Right? Because listen, you can give a person that wants money. I tell my son this. He's an artist, one of the oldest ones.
Yes.
And we were driving to my youngest son's AAU game yesterday, and we were talking about, because he draws and stuff. And we were talking about a lot of his drawings. He's amazing at it.
Wow.
And I said, what's your intentions?
Yes.
Right? Like, what do you want from this?
Yes.
Because if somebody gives you $10 million, $500 million, what are you going to do? What do you want? Right? And I said, this is not a question you have to answer right away. But like some basketball players, some football players, baseball players, some actors, some actresses, they want to be noticed.
Yes.
They don't really love the art.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, some women, they don't want to be a mother, right?
They just like the idea of it.
Yeah. The idea.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Fathers, some fathers, they don't want to be fathers. They just love the idea.
Agreed.
And, you know, we get a little confused with titles so much that we don't really understand exactly what it means to be exactly that.
I agree 100%. I be 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a tough thing. And, you know, brothers like yourself, myself, a lot of us, my boy Don J. Whitfield, we speak a lot about life, and he's intense as well. He's from New York. Wow. He lives here. He lives here. He's an actor. Sally Ray Richardson, I think is his wife. Yes, her name Sally. And he wrote a book called Man versus Male, which is a great book. Also.
Wow. I'm gonna send you my book too.
Okay, please. Yeah, I love reading. But yeah, you know, it's you know, I would tell people, love yourself over anything else, but be selfless, not selfish. And then another thing, I think when people are looking on social media and people are, we're talking about, you know, you want to become great or something. I think even with emotions, like you have to have, Kobe had boundaries.
Yes. Yes.
So some people may take that as stuck up, standoffish, this, that, whatever. Like you have to learn how to have boundaries.
Yes.
And if you have a career, if you want to be great, you have to give things up.
Yes.
You have to say no. You have to do that. I was telling my youngest son, that's 13, that like it's okay to have fun with your friends, but if you guys want to get to a certain level, and I've been there, you have to have boundaries.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Right. Boundaries with your mother, because she's never been a pro. This is what it takes to be a pro. So it's not, no, I'm going to hang over and do nothing. I got to go do this. Right? Because this is my life.
Yes.
Like, this is where I want to go.
Yes.
So, you know, having boundaries is very, very important to succeed in life, man. And I think a lot of us don't understand what that truly means.
You know, my son, and you know, my rule in my house is do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. I said, knowing that what you have to do is more important than what you want to do. I said, what you want to do, you have to earn that privilege, right? But if you keep overly indulging on what you want to do, you're ultimately going to realize you actually done nothing. right?
Right.
And this is how we talk all the time. And I keep reminding him every day, like, look, it's not about impressing me when the camera's on. It's what you do when no one is watching you. It's who you truly are. And he sees it now. He's starting to understand it. I'm like, it's the repetition, right? I said, you have to have the repetition of continuously sacrificing, continuously doing, whether I'm looking or whether I'm not looking. This has to become you, right? This point now, when we say what we're saying on this podcast or on live, this is genuinely who we are. So I don't have to rehearse. You don't have to rehearse because this is how we speak, right? And I know that some guys, they have to be prepared to have these conversations. Some guys ask me, what question are you going to ask me? I'm like, why are you worried if you know who you are? Don't tell lights, camera, action, right? Be yourself. That's one thing I see 100% about you. You don't mind. You know who you are again, and you say, this is what it is. Like me, hate me, but I'm me, right? And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I think society is having a problem. They're too busy, especially with social media. It's like, I'm going to give you who I think people want to see opposed to who I really am, right? And,
well, we're all actors, right?
Yes,
We're
yes.
all actors. I say this in the most humble way. It took me a while, you know, I'm almost 50, 40, 70, 48, that to really understand what role I want to play as this actor.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you know, you come in with no script.
Yes.
Right? You have to learn a script. And that script may be a mother, a father, or crackhead mom, crackhead dad, alcoholic mom, alcoholic dad, yelling mom, alpha dad, beta dad. It's all these different. So who do I want to be? My uncle was cool as shit. His uncle right here was this. My grandma was that. My grandfather was this. It's so many actors.
Agreed.
And now we have to pick what role you want to play and then master that role. Become a method actor in it.
Yes.
And the best method acting that you should practice is selfless self-love and spreading that out, you know, and you know, it's our parents' fault because they, you know, they've learned from someone else. So I always say we are children in grown-up bodies playing an adult.
Agreed.
So what adult did you actually start to play? This loser over here, this person that did not know what they were talking about over here. I told my oldest son this, and he'll come in here and tell you right now. I said, I research everything. I read, I do everything. I'm not always right, but I'm 99%. I promise you this one, that I've researched this. So I said, if you don't believe me, all you got to do is go Google it. Go look it up for yourself. But I'm not going to tell you some shit that I did not at all research. I don't really believe. I'm not doing that. You know, won't work with me. And a lot of parents do that.
You know something funny? One of my guys in the studio with me right now, we talk about this. People are very opinion and feeling based. There's no experience, right? They don't learn from experience the way we used to as young guys. Experience is always going to be the best teacher no matter what, right? I have to remind people sometimes an older person was your age. You haven't been the age yet. So you have to just be mindful of learning, right? The other day, me and a young guy was talking. I told him PTSD is real. And he said, how can you explain that to be real? He said, I don't think it's real. I said, it is real. He said, elaborate. I said, growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, when people come up, run up on you fast, you defend yourself, right? I said, and that's become a trauma. I said, now fast forward. The other day, you know, now with the social media platform, people are starting to recognize me more. I go into the mall. Somebody run up on me. Man, I jump into a fighting stance. The guy gets nervous. I said, I gotta apologize. I'm not used to this yet, right? I said, you know, as Cuttino Mobley, I'm pretty sure you've always been approached. You know, so you used to that, right? But the one thing I want to say is about the big three. A lot of young guys are getting to see what we seen you do on the court already. So they're getting to see it. Because my son was laughing. He was like, isn't that? I said, yes. He's like, but Dad, he's all, I said, he's great, he's killing. I said, yeah. I said, don't let that gray fool you, brother. That's called wisdom, bro. I said, gray is for wisdom. It is not for old. I said, you know, and I talked to him about these things, and he's like, yo, you're right. And, you know, seeing guys like you and seeing what you're doing is like, wow, this guy can still hoop, right? You can hoop, not hoop, but hoop, right? And it's amazing. How do you keep yourself so fit and so in shape?
I go to bed early at nights.
Sleep is made.
I have a certain diet that was chicken, fish, you know, vegetables. And I'm at peace, man. Like, you know I'm not going to get 30 and 40 all the time, but I pick my spots when I play out there. I try to teach while I'm playing, so I won't have to exert my body as much. You know what I'm saying? And, it's the intelligence of it for me was, of course, was earned, right, because of
Yes.
all the years,
Yes.
right? So um, I just like to, I like to, I'm happy and blessed to be able to teach while I'm playing,
Yes.
right? Because a lot of the younger guys, me just speaking it, they can't see it. I got to be able to be out there and do it and orchestrate this so they can,
See
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
see it themselves. And then now you go do it, because that's how I learned. You know, when we were young boys, you go to the park and you playing with the old heads,
Yeah.
and they're teaching you how to play the game and things like that. So I think it needs to be more older guys helping these younger guys navigate. And like I'm just, it's just using a metaphor of, it's like basketball, right? Life
Okay.
is like that. Got the
Yes.
older guy that did it before.
Yes.
It's an older guy that may not be as successful as you, but you know what? He went to jail because of this, or he did this because of that. He's still teaching you. Just because
Yes.
he's not, don't make your money, he's still teaching you something.
Agreed. Agreed.
Uh,
But
yeah,
when you talk to young guys, you tell them stuff like a fool can teach you how not to be a fool, right?
yes.
By watching what they're doing, they can show you how not to. But I want to ask you this question. On and off the court, you could say either or. Who you think was your greatest coach through life?
My greatest coach through life is my stepfather.
Wow. You give this guy a lot
Yeah,
of flowers, man. And
yeah,
wow, wow, wow.
yeah.
And
So he spoke to me like this all the time,
yeah,
right? My dad is beautiful, like, he's a good guy. He's if you meet my father, you'd be like, damn, you'll fall in love with him. You'd be like, damn, this dude is a good dude, man.
yeah,
He's on the side of right. And he's a two striker.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So, he grew up in the streets, and I knew my grandma and my grandpa, but they couldn't afford to keep all the kids. So they gave them up.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But I still knew my grandma and my grandpa. So, and my dad never drank or smoked in his life. My grandma and my grandfather was alcoholics.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? My grandma died, she had a throat cancer.
Yeah.
So that was his lesson he had to learn from his parents, that I don't do this, right? And it's more extreme because he don't believe people, should be drinking and smoking, and rightfully so because of the trauma from his younger age, whatever. But my stepfather was he's brilliant. He was brilliant. He loved you. He kissed you. He hugged you. He was just a good man, man.
Wow.
And my mom did anything right, she picked two dudes, one to make me and the other one to help build.
Wow. 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 On the court, though, who would you say is your greatest teammate that you've ever had, and why? Are they meant so much to your career?
I mean, it was a short stint with him, but Grant Hill and I, Grant's just flat out solid. I mean, he's salt of the earth.
Yeah.
I wish I could have been with him more.
Yeah.
Grant was a great family man. He's a great person. He's the only child. He doesn't even have only child syndrome. Not in my eyes.
Yeah.
He was so much for team. He's so much for family. So much for getting better. He's a great businessman. Grant to me is like LeBron. He's just
selfless.
I love those two guys, man, because it's very hard, Q, to navigate through life and have the energy and time for everyone.
Yes. You get burned
right?
out.
And then be pure about it. And be pure about it. You know?
Yes.
So those two guys to me, and LeBron wasn't my teammate, but as a brother
I get it. Yeah.
and a peer, because I know how hard it is.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy the other day, right? And I said, there's a word that starts with an M and ends with an R. I think more people that look like you and I need to learn that we need them. He was like, what is that word? I said, a mentor. And he looked at me and I said, I feel like we were taught that you don't need people, right? And ultimately realizing later as adults that you need people. And people are the best investments in life that you can make, right? Right now, you're pouring into your children. That's an investment, right? The time, the love, the patience, right? The compassion. And you're raising modest citizens, people that are doing something prominent with their lives and going to make an impact in the world, right? So when I told the guy, I said, we must learn that in order to learn or to create the life or to be what you want, you have to mirror someone, right? Kobe Bryant mirrored Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan mirrored Dr. J, right? LeBron James is just I don't know. I can't really say. I would say Grant Hill, though. Grant Hill was similar back. Grant Hill was the closest.
Grant was that guy. People don't understand. If Grant didn't get injured,
he would have been.
You talking about the GOAT. You talking about one of the GOATs.
I believe
like
it.
Grant was so amazing, man.
Yeah.
It was.
Listen, he was a point forward, right? I think two of the guys who careers I would have had love from start to end in their primes and longer tenures is Penny Hardaway and definitely Grant Hill. Those are I would have loved to see it. And I wish I could give What's Anybody redo too. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I watch two guys they tease because of injuries. One is Sam Bowie, because you remember he went before Jordan, and also a guy by the name of Greg Oden because he went before Kevin Durant. Right? Injuries, they hurt these two guys' careers, right? And Greg was a good guy, but injuries, right?
He's a sweet guy, man. Yeah. That's true. That's two really good ones too. That's two really good. But Grant Hill to me was,
wow,
oh God, unbelievable player.
Bro, I wore felines because of Grant Hill. I'm gonna keep it honest.
Yes, he made him cool.
Yes, he did. You gotta admit it. Grant Hill made felines cool, bro. It's just what it is,
bro.
Listen, I like. Look, Shaq was one of my favorite players, but I wore felines more because of Grant Hill. And I'm like, no, not being honest. I only wore felines because of Grant Hill, right? And it's crazy because Grant Hill was definitely that guy. He was that guy, But who would you say
his daughter's an MMA fighter?
I didn't even know that.
Look her up, Mia.
I'm gonna look up.
Pack punches, bro.
But look his dad.
Choke him up.
I gotta check it out. Look at his dad. His dad was a football player, NFL player. Yeah. Isn't it DNA, right? At this point, it's
they
just
were the Obamas before. Listen, his dad, Thomas, and them, they were the Obamas before the Obamas.
Wow.
When I say, listen, pristine, mother, father educated, beautiful people, good-looking people, stay out the way, classy. That's the Huxtables. That's the real Huxtables right there. When you watch them, I'm telling you, they need to do a documentary on Grant, his mom, and his dad, of just being a black family in America. I swear, they just politically everything. They're amazing.
Wow.
They're amazing.
Like I say, we have conversations, and I tell people all the time, when a person don't know who they are, they tend to behave how they're taught, right? And the one thing I want to get into a topic about, we talk about this a lot. What do you think are some of the social issues right now that's affecting the structure of our children? Like, what is really affecting them? I know we talk about social media, but what do you think socially is really throwing our children off right now? Because, like, for me, I see that there's the way a lot of children are being raised. It's like it doesn't make sense to me, right? And socially, it's weird because, like, first off, you know what you've been through. Why do you want to procreate the same traumas, right? I don't want to have my children go through the same level.
Misery love.
It does, right? It does. I was having a conversation with a younger guy, and we were talking about that, and I said, the one thing he said to me, Mo, you agree with this? He said, if I'm your son, Q, he was like, if you told me to do ABC, he said, by the time I opened Instagram, it told me to do XYZ. He said, it's too many distractions and too many opinions coming at light speed, right? And I didn't realize it when he said it. I was like, you know what, you're right. He said it comes at light speed. He said it's so many different opinions. So he said, so when my dad tell me to do something, somebody else tell me my dad's wrong. And I was like, wow. What do you think we can do to help the youth, to move forward?
I would have to evaluate what he said by how much time his dad actually spent with him growing up.
Logic.
Right? Because my 23-year-old son still listens to me.
Yes.
Right? My 13-year-old son listens to me. Their friends listen to me. Right? I think it's the chicken and the egg, right? Because if you grow up with no father, you tend to have female emotions.
I agree.
Which they call toxic masculinity. But if you do grow up with a mentor, a strong man, not a male, a man, I think that starts to help the progress of the future of people.
Yes.
Women can only do but so much, right? But you need that man's voice, that sternness, and a complete man, a strong man, a alpha man. And you actually don't really have to. You don't have to yell, right?
Yes.
You can definitely improve the argument in a softer way, and sometimes a stern way.
Yeah.
So I think men are so important.
I agree.
Statistically, in our lives that will make life better for all of us.
I agree 100%.
You need to really have men call other men out too, right? Like if you're not taking care of your kids, bro, you can't be around me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like I'm not saying you got to fight like how I fought, but do your best to take care of your kids, man. Just period. Super simple.
Yes.
Right? And then listen, what's not simple is maybe the relationship you have with the mother. But it's talking to your children every single day or trying your best to or fighting for them in a way where, listen, let her call the cops on you. Well, you didn't abuse your children, sexually abuse your children, hit your children. I'm coming up to this school and you can take him, but he gonna see my face every day.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like until I get to the rights where I can be able to take them. Like we have to be just like, these cats go and pursue a girl to go get some ass. You need to be on your kids every single day, trying your best to make sure, because you only get a certain amount of time of their brain development.
Yes.
And then the rest of the world takes it from them.
Yes.
So, that's why for me, I didn't go for the money and coaching and could make millions of dollars and blah, blah, blah. I spent millions of dollars to make sure I keep mine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So if these opportunities with making millions of dollars come after this, cool. But I know one thing, I know my kids will be like, yo, my dad that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my guy. My dad was always there for me.
Yes.
And that's what because my father and my stepfather was always there for me.
Wow. Something crazy. Like when you look at back now, I listen to a lot of women. They it's like everything, even men, it's very toxic, right? It's like if we don't last, we can't co-parent respectfully, right? We have to be toxic, right? Someone walks away from the situation very bitter and scorned to the point where everything is a fight, right? I don't think it's fair. Like I had a statement the other day, and you could choose or not to answer this or speak on this topic, but I said it's kind of unfair that a woman can get impregnated by a man and choose abortion without his permission, but yet and still, if he doesn't want the child, he doesn't have a right to say, if he wants, let's say I don't want the child, she still has a child, he's still financially obligated and still obligated all around the board. But if he chooses that he wants this child and she don't, he has no say-so. And I was like, there's a lot of things right now that are very unfair when it comes to men and women, right? But again, if you divide, you shall conquer. And I'm noticing the extreme levels of division that's being created, right? It's like, I'm gonna create division. I'm gonna make a woman feel like you're a man because you earn. And earning don't make you a woman, it just makes you a grown-up, right? And vice versa for a man has to consistently be a man. I can't turn this role off, right? I have to do it every day. And it's a very thankless job that we understand, right? Very thankless. We just do it because we know this is what we're supposed to be doing, right? And I have to admit it, right? Look at Father's Day. I'm not saying all households, but most households, it's not a big ordeal. It should be a very, very big ordeal. Because like you said a minute ago, statistics show the extreme necessity of a man is extreme. Men are extremely needed, right? We can go into a whole bunch of statistics that back both our stances on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the question was. I can answer it. I'm an open book. But in speaking about what you just stated, I think that's why I did, Dad's point of view, because I was at a dark spot of fighting for my children. And there's a lot of fathers that are out there that are going through, I think there's more emotional abuse by women than it is physical abuse by men.
Yes.
And this has been for, I don't know how long, how many years. And sometimes men just don't want to hear it no more. And I'm not saying it's right, but then they just leave because of a lot of different reasons. I don't know. I didn't go around talking to every single man, but it can get, even for me, and the tactics that these people were trying to play on a consistent basis, or trying to alienate children, or coaching children, or playing with children's emotions, or you can't see this child or give me money, or your dad is not this and your dad is that, and and then hide behind their words, or act like they didn't say the things they did, or they're just a child. They don't know what they're talking about. Like all these different evil tactics.
Yes.
That's why I said, what? I got to create Dad's point of view to make this better for us, make this better for us, and to give fathers voices. And maybe, some of them, it's not about like talking down about the mother. No, I don't. That time discovers truth, brother. I promise you this.
100%.
Right? Like
100%.
There's, there's a saying, right? And it says, how does it go? The saying is, happy is the man who can make others better. Happy is the man who can make others better, not merely when he is in their company, but even when he is in their thoughts. And to me, teaching my sons how to be good people, I don't have to be around them at 23 years old. I don't have to be around my 30-year-old when he's with his friends. They just hear that voice in the thought of my father, and that's how we become better. But again, too, if I'm only raised by this female and I got bitterness about my father, and my father and I haven't had a discussion, those thoughts are negative, and now I'm portraying that into the world, and now I become this emotional wreck and blah, 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 blah. Listen, there's a phrase called mean girls, and they're in high school. They're in grade school. That's for a reason, because it's always been like that.
Yes.
Right? You don't just stop being a fucking mean girl.
Yes.
Right? Yes. You look at all the Disney's movies, and there's mean stepmoms and mean moms, and this type of mom, that type of mom. That's real.
That is real.
That's real. They're not just making that up.
It's real.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not just making that up. And gaslighting is real. And I want to say this on your platform. People like this clickbaiting, narcissists, all men are narcissists. Like, if you really look it up, and as far as the power and I want all the credit and everything, that's actually the mother. That's actually the mother. Yeah, men do that because you talk about a CEO of a company. Yeah, he may be that.
Yes.
But when we're talking about parenting, usually the mom controls the shit.
She does.
Well, back then. So then now that's more of a narcissist. See, mother knows best to me. This mother said yesterday, I was joking with her because we were at the stand at the AAU game, and she said, she was carrying the boys' the basketball. Her husband was over there empty-handed.
Okay.
The boy, she had a basketball, bro, white lady. She had a basketball. She had a credit card in her hand. She had 3 shakes of the whistling.
Okay.
So as much as it is the father's fault or the son's fault, it's her fault, because she's like, a mother's task is, we just do so much. I'm like, I said to her, I don't know about a mother. I said, a lot of parents do that, and I'm a father. I'm a single father. But what I wanted to say to her, and I don't know her, but I want to say this to everybody else, is like, stop wanting to do everything and then complain that you do everything. All she had to do was, I paid for this. Hey, whatever his name is, Bob, boys, come get your ball. You hold your ball. Come get this milkshake.
Yes.
But see, when you all want to play the martyr and the goddamn victim, you do that in your household.
Yes.
So then now you want somebody to read your mind when you want to take a rest.
Yes.
It's bullshit.
Yes.
That's bullshit to me.
It is, though.
I tell my boys, my oldest son woke up this morning, cleaned the whole kitchen. I didn't have to tell him. Took out the trash. I had to tell him. I'm not going to sit here and I'm slaving up. No. It's a team effort.
It is.
You holding the boy basketball. He's still in the gym. 3 shakes, your credit card. this, that, whatever. Your husband sitting over there empty-handed. You trained them the right way.
Yes. Because you allow it.
So don't complain.
You allow it.
And a lot of women do that.
You know.
Because they have no boundaries.
Agreed.
Or they want to control the whole environment.
Yes.
See, because if I control this whole environment, I can complain. Then subconsciously they start feeling guilty. Oh damn, man, I gotta do this now. No, set it in stone early.
Yes.
Clean your room, take out the trash. When I come in the house and get groceries, all I gotta do is come in the kitchen. I'm gonna bring one bag, come in the kitchen. You'll go out there and get that stuff. Yeah. Put your stuff in the refrigerator. It's yours too. Keep it simple. And we don't do that.
Yes.
Especially women don't do it. And then they call themselves, then they want to complain, do all this other stuff. And it's like, I tell my mom when she comes to my house, my mom was saying for a while, she loves cleaning, she loves washing clothes, she does all doing that old school stuff. I do it all myself. So she come in and she start complaining with my 13-year-old, my 23-year-old, my 24, all of them. Listen, you can go back home. I can get the maid come over here. She don't say nothing, and she happy. I give her money. So you either be happy and doing what you want to do, or don't do it. Nobody's forcing you to do this.
No.
You feel me?
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
It's a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing that we put ourselves in. And this lady sitting there, mother's task is never done. I said, okay. On Father's Day, she says that to me. I'm sitting there like, sweetheart, come on.
It won't credit. You know something funny? There's a magazine. I'm not sure which one it is. Don't quote me. But I know there's a magazine right now that there are a lot of women suing the magazine because they were basically telling them that they don't need men. And they supported it and promoted it. I don't know which one it is. One of you guys can look it up. But they're definitely one of the magazines. They're actually being sued by a lot of women for giving them false tints in life. Right? They're a purpose for women. They're a purpose for men. If not, God would have never made genders, right? It would have never even been made. It would have been a purpose. Right? So in that sense, we could understand that. But when you look back and you sit back and see how the courts oppress fathers so bad that a lot of men are scared or even timid to step up because it's like, she gonna win anyway. I know guys who are kind of hopeless when it comes to courts because they don't feel like they have no power. They feel very powerless. And sometimes a woman would say, like I posted a video, it just went crazy on social media about how, I think you sent it to one of your homegirls to repost it for me. This video is going crazy right now. And the lady said to me, she DM'd me personally, a couple of women are going crazy. She said, it's sad that if you are a real father, you would do everything it takes to be in your child's life. I said, let me tell you something. I'm going to be honest. For a guy that was in family court at 18 years old, who was still a child himself, not understanding the magnitude of maturity you have to be to even understand what's going on. I said, I was 17 and a half when I had my kid. I said, fast forward, my son lives with me and he's been living with me for a very long time. And I raised him by myself for a very long time. But what I will say is this, every dog has his day. The way I was treated in court was horrible. I felt like I robbed the world. You know, I'm like
second-class citizen.
Yes, bro. It was bad. And I'm like, that kid across from me is not a friend. That's my child. I said, no matter what, Your Honor, I would lose me to make sure he's okay. I think me and you said this the other day. If someone came to me right now and said, either you or your son die, it's not even a question.
Yeah,
right?
I said, go ahead, walk away, I got this.
Yes. And I said to them, like, fighting, I'm like, you have no idea. And then you missing, you look at this. For a guy that work, you had a guy at the time working hard. I'm missing days of work. And it's just being adjourned. If the woman don't show up to court, there's no held in contempt. If I don't show up, there's a warrant going to be issued, right? And it's like, it's unfair. And I'm like, this is so unfair. And I'm like, all I want to do is be able to be in my child's life because I know he needs me, especially as he get older. You need to really see a man in order to understand a man, right? Because if not, he's going to be hypersensitive when he needs to learn how to use logic more than feelings, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, you need to learn how to use your logic. We're talking logic. 1 + 1 = 2, right?
Right.
But sometimes in your feelings, 1 + 1 won't equal 2, right?
No matter how much you do.
Yes. There was
a post, and I'm going to talk about it tonight. Russell Simmons. But it was like, something about why should a father have to fight so hard to have 50% of something about custody of their children, right? Like I forget what exactly, but it was a Russell Simmons. Russell posted it, and his daughters, I guess, one of his daughters put a video. She recorded him and put the video out in social media, but she muted it.
Yes.
So you just saw his expressions and you didn't hear his voice.
Yes.
Which I think is slimy by her. Because if you really want to make a point, first of all, why you put it out with people of your business? You put that out there, but then you mute him. Right? He could have been saying, I love you so much. I can't believe you're doing this. Your mother stole from me. He could have been saying something like that.
Could have been.
She muted it, but she just wanted people to see his emotions. So that's like anything. If he's got two people from a distance and they're arguing, I don't know which one's the fool. So it's like discrediting Russ, right? Like it's just, I think these women were like replying at the bottom on Russell and, you should fight harder. Fight harder? Why you got to fight at all? Why do I have to fight at all? What are you talking about?
You see the
one lady, what's that lady? What's the lady's name? Ayanka. She's the older black woman, spiritual woman. She was on Oprah's thing. She has like a book. She has books out. She's the author.
Yes.
And she's sitting here. The man is sitting here. His ex-wife is sitting here, and then his 3 daughters are lined up. All the years she's saying that he molested the girls, he did this to the girls. Come to find out, they took a detector test and all that she lied all those years. The middle daughter, all of them are crying like surprised. The middle daughter's crying like, why would you do that? Why would you take our relationship with our father away from us like that? So he's trembling. He's so mad. So Ivanka, I forget her name. Anyway, I forget. I keep butchering her name, but I forget. But anyway, she says, "Do you forgive her?" Talking about the mother. He was like, first of all, she says, "Do you have an apology?" She says, I forget verbatim how she said it first, but she says, "I want to know why you ain't fight harder."
Wow.
Like it made me so upset. I wanted to jack her up so bad.
Wow.
Then she said, "Yeah, I'm sorry." Like you wasn't really sorry. And then she said, "Do you forgive him?" He was like, "I can't. I don't. No, I don't. I don't. You stole my relationship with my daughters when they were younger, growing up, and now they're traumatized because of things that happened when they were younger. Now they got to go get help." And she was so bitter and mad. And these are stories that happen every day, all day long.
Yes.
And father's the bad one. And I'm not saying fathers are not, I'm not saying fathers are angels. All I'm saying is there's 3 sides to every single story.
It is. The one thing you just said a minute ago when you said, as fathers, we should hold each other accountable. When I posted my video, right, talking about how some women owe their children an apology because they created a false narrative about their fathers, right? Some women were very bitter. They were very hurt. And all they did was push the father away because of the personal relationship they had with the father. They couldn't see that maybe we didn't work out, but he could have been a good father to my children. They couldn't see it, right? So now they created a narrative, and they kept telling these children. Over years of being told something, most minds will believe, right? Right? So if you tell somebody they're a loser for their whole life, they will believe that they're a loser. So when we look at this scenario, right, the girl, I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, like you've created this false narrative to these children, and now these children are mad at fathers who really wanted a relationship with them, who really wanted to love them, who were still learning how to be fathers. But again, a job is always learned better when doing, right? And a lot of men, they don't know what being a father is. But if you alleviate the ability to even do it, how will he ever become efficient or effective at doing it? Because me at 17, I didn't grow up with my father, but I learned how to be one by doing it, right? And noticing that I know he needs me and I have to try to be the best me. So I got to work on myself. And I just got better and better and better. I kind of tell my son he was like he's the mistake child, meaning I made all my mistakes with him. So the
Yeah,
other
the
ones are
guinea
better.
pig.
He was the guinea
Was the
pig.
guinea pig.
Yes, and I tell him that all the time. He laughs, and I'm like, I'm better at it because of you, and I always thank him for it. And in one of my
But that's
episodes,
my oldest. I'm like that with my
yes,
oldest.
yes, one of my episodes of my podcast, I actually brought him on, and I apologized to him on my podcast, and I said, I want to apologize to you. He said, why? I said, I didn't know how to be a father to the magnitude of what I know today. So I want you to understand that I was young. And I'm not saying this because I'm looking for forgiveness. I'm saying this because I want you to know where my heart is. I said, and at almost 40, and as a teenager, it's two different mentalities. And I said, a lot of my structure was yelling. Now I sit down and have a conversation with him. Last night we sat in my movie theater in my house and we watched anime. That's what he's into. So we watched it just because Father's Day. I said, I'd rather spend time with you and watch anime. And he's like, yeah. I said, these are the things you start seeing that money can't buy, right? Money can't buy this. And I said, money is a tool that we need, but it's not the God, right? And that's why I want to commend you to understand that. Like you said, you could have chased the money, but you chased your family. And that's one thing that a lot of people won't. I tell one of my kids' mothers, I'm not going to say which one, I tell her all the time, if I was a deadbeat father, I think you would respect me more. But the fact of the matter is that I don't want to be a deadbeat father. I think you don't respect me. I said, a woman right now who has a guy who doesn't want to do half of what I want to do for my kid will respect me so much more than you do because you're only accustomed to seeing what I do. So you take it for granted. And I said, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a woman that wish they had a father like me in their life.
For a fact.
And you're blocking the relationship.
Yeah.
And you're blocking it. And you don't see it. And I said, I don't hate you.
As long as we can just stay consistent, I promise you, like, as hard as it is at times, us staying consistent on being there, present,
yes,
emotionally, right, intellectually, physically.
Yes.
Sooner or later, when the kids grow up, they know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, damn.
They're going to wake up.
That's how you acting?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Then you start to assess it. Because, a boy turns into a male to a man, and then he has relationships. And now you're like, damn, my pop went through this.
Yeah.
That's
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
Craziest
I need
thing,
to walk away from this.
Listen, my son said the craziest thing one time. He looked at me and said, I know why you and my mother are separated. And I said, why? He said, Dad, I know why.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, did I ever tell you that? He said, no. He said, I figured it out. I said, because what's misunderstood don't have to be explained.
Yeah.
I said, you're going to understand. You'll see. It's not easy. I said,
my son read his mom's text messages from when he was little, when she would talk to me. And me and her are tight now. I love her. That's my girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, she loved my kids. It's not even hers.
Wow.
Miles and Sam.
Wow.
But when we were younger, we were both immature, right? And we said things we shouldn't have said. But I was never vicious with my words. She was very vicious at the time. And when you're young like that, you know what I'm saying? You say things you don't really mean. But he read them. And then he told me about a year ago, he said, yo, Dad, it was crazy how she's talked to you, man. Like, because he's old, he's 22.
So he's dealing with
women.
what I'm saying?
You don't know, man. I'm going into basketball games, about to play the Lakers, and I'm getting a crazy text. You know what I'm saying? So you got to focus, you know what I mean? Because especially when you love someone, but you don't know how to love them, and then they beat you up with words, you're like, damn, yo, like, you don't even know what real love is now. Like, it's just toxic. Like, I mean, that's the love language. And I've told myself after a while, I was like, I don't want to be around this type of, like, this frustration, So, you learn the older you get. He's close to me and he's close to his mother. You know what I'm saying? So, but you learn the older you get, whether your father, he's in your mother's tendencies.
I agree. It's dope when life comes full circle and you smile because I used to fight for a relationship with my son, and that was there. It's beyond good. And he lives in my house. We enjoy each other. We try to do something at least once or twice a month, just me and him. And it is amazing when you're allowed to be a father, right? It's because, again, I always tell people, 3 children, 3 different types of personalities. You have to learn how to parent each one. But I have to be around them to learn how to parent them, right? So a person will say, you're not being a good parent. How can I be a good parent when I'm not around them? So if a person is saying that the father's not being a good father because he's not around his kid because you're not allowing it, but he's giving money, that means you only see him as a paycheck, right?
Right.
You don't see him as a father. And we have to
Right.
change it in order to really be able to allow our children to be comfortable. You know, I really realized I was a single child. I come from a single parent when I was at a parent-teacher conference and I would see dads. And it really affected me like, wow, I have no dad here. You know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, some women, I hate to say this, I don't like when they say that I'm his dad. A woman could never be a dad.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist, right? A man could never be a mom.
It's
Right.
just it's crazy. So, you know, when women say that I'm a mother, I'm like, listen, I'm a parent.
I'm a parent.
Okay.
I'm a parent.
I'm a parent. That's it. I'm a mother. Like that's not a badge of honor. It's not a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not doing that, right?
Yeah.
Because some of you take that title to the fullest and you use it the wrong way. And it's not cool. And a lot of men do too. But I'm just saying, when you that bragging and boasting shit, like good for you.
Yes.
God made you a female so you can have a child. Good for you. Now what do you do from there?
Let's raise it
You
together.
know what I'm saying? What are you developing from there? Are you developing yourself to be your
Yes.
best version so then your children can be able to be their best version? Because if you just this bitter ass little child inside your brain, but yet you have a grown up body, you're playing an adult that you don't even know exists, truthfully.
Agreed. It's bad because the climate, you know, is just bad. You know, but we can go on all day about this, you know, and it's sad, right? But we gotta learn how to forgive and move on because people grow,
Yeah.
people change, people elevate, right? I tell people all the time, don't hold me to who I used to be because you won't see how great I am today. If you keep
Mhm.
thinking about who I was, right? New chapter of my life and I'm writing it and I'm happy in the chapter that I am, right?
Right.
I've seen the past. You know, I'm not stuck in my glory days and my wonder years. I'm creating new chapters. While God has given me life, I'm gonna keep enjoying it. You know,
Mhm.
if you can tell a young person right now who's on this live or watching this, what would you tell someone? Not even just a man or a woman. What kind of motivation would you give somebody?
Um, I think I think it's kind of hard navigating through life, especially at a young age, because you have so much chaos, so much influence, so many different things. I think learn as much as you can, but also too is like intelligence without ambition is a bird without wings, right? So you know, while you work on your intelligence of oneself, your ambition has to have intentions to be great,
Yes.
right? And to help us. And, you know, I never I've never seen a person fail who's trying to learn themselves,
Yes.
right? Like it may be a struggle in the beginning.
Yes.
The more you try to learn yourself, the more you start to understand how amazing life is, can be, and what you can do to contribute. So, be selfless, not selfish.
Yes. I love it. Kat, how could they keep up with you? How could they check in with you and see what else you got coming and going on?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. It's Cuttinos Life, CuttinosLife. I don't really use TikTok much or Snapchat, none of that stuff. I just do Instagram. I have a podcast called Dad's Point of View.
Yes.
We're going to start filming soon again. And yeah, I'm looking to go around the world and just interview fathers and mothers who support fathers or just women in general who support fathers, just to kind of help fathers out there in the world. But, I appreciate you letting me be on your podcast,
I
man.
appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I'm on Instagram, Cuttino's Life.
And what do you have any other future endeavors that you got coming up?
I do speaking engagements that I'm be doing, but more so just me, man, focused on Dad's point of view and raising my kids and my kids' friends. That's that's pretty much it.
That's dope, though. That's dope. Man, look, one thing I will say is before we get out of here, man, you at peace, and I love it. to see a guy that looks like you, that understands life, right? That's been through ups, downs, lefts, rights, right? But still striving and still doing great and always in good spirit. Every time I talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, I just want y'all to know it is never bitter when we talk about parenting. It's just the truth, right? And in order to fix, we have to talk about the truth. Some people take everything so personal, but I'm like, listen, it is not personal. I am not bitter. I have a great life, right? And I'm not talking about from just a money aspect. I'm talking about just living aspect, right? So for someone that's a young parent, I just want you to say this, that may be going through this, what we were just talking about. What would you say to them? Or maybe even an older parent too, because both go through
stay consistent. Work on yourself.
Yes.
I think for me, it's just my own thing is work on accepting, my imperfections.
Yes.
Being consistent and present with my kids.
Yes.
And just that the universe is actually your God. And understand that don't get excited by yeses and don't get emotional by nos. Because some days, it's your day and some days it's not. So, stay consistent with your children. Stay in their life. And if you can't, there's maybe people out there that I feel bad for you that can't see their kids. So every single day, write a 4 sentences of what you would have talked to them about that day, and hold that journal and be able to give it to them the day you do see them, so they can understand that, wow, and date it.
Yes.
So they can say that, wow, my dad really thought of me. My mom really thought of me. When they, if they're being alienated, I don't know, but just stay consistent, man. Stay consistent. And try your best to stay around positive individuals, right? I'm not going to, if his father's, wanting to reach out, I'm not going to sit here and bash the mom, right? Let's just talk about you as an individual so you can be better, so you can have enough energy to be able to pour that into your child when possible.
I love it. Kat, you already know how I feel about you. I don't even got to say anything. I value you. I respect you. I appreciate you. Man, coming on it. Man, you made my day today, man. It's never like, listen, it's like catching up with an old friend every time we talk, big bro.
Yes.
We go for hours doing this, man. But I just want you to know I appreciate you and thank you for doing this for me. I'm going to give you your flowers again while you're here on earth. We're not going to talk about you at your funeral. We're going to talk about you today. And we love you. We value you. And keep striving, being the great father that you are and the great man that you are, because God is definitely working on you and he's working on us so we can keep elevating and helping other brothers become stronger, right? And I want you to know I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you too, brother. Be good, man.
Thanks, big bro. All right, Kat. So, guys, this is my guy, man. He's an amazing guy, man. Love it. I love it. We built a good relationship and a good rapport. As you can see, Cuttino Mobley, amazing man. Need I say more? For those who want to keep up with the content, follow us at Don't Let That Go Over Your Head on all platforms. For those who want to check out this episode and more episodes, definitely keep checking in. We're going to keep working. On YouTube, it's Empowered Dynasty. Until next time, as we always say, don't let that go over your head.